We're continuing Live's Health Check Week with essential information about men's health. Here with everything we need to know is Dr. Holly Phillips.
Dr. Holly, welcome back. We love having you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Where do we begin? Because, you see the men here. Some of them look like they're okay, but some of them are not doing well. Where should we start?
Well, I think when we talk about men's health, we actually could pay attention to how much of a role women can play in men's health. So, for example, women tend to be much more proactive patients than men. Women are more likely to go to the doctor when they're sick, but also more likely to go just for their annual physical and screening. But some really interesting surveys and studies have shown men will go to the doctor with a little bit of encouragement from their partners or loved ones.
Okay.
So, well, tell us about the screenings that men should be getting.
Sure. Well, I think one of the first and kind of the most important to think about is skin cancer screening because it's pretty easy. Skin cancer is still the #1 most common cancer in both men and women in the United States. It strikes men a little bit more, and importantly, men are twice as likely later in life to get melanoma, which is the deadliest form of skin cancer.
Why is that? What is there like a reasoning behind it?
Yeah.
Women are probably just more.
Well, when it comes to the other forms of cancer, of skin cancer, women do tend to do a little bit more sun protection than men, but melanoma, it just sort of is what it is. The good thing about melanoma is you can see it often, and therefore you can pick it up, screen for it, and handle it early.
You check for stuff.
I'm always looking.
Yeah,
I'm always looking at him.
Yeah.
So melanoma usually can start out looking like a mole, but the moles have specific kind of characteristics.
Right.
There's a whole ABCDE
Right.
of melanoma. To run through really, really quickly, asymmetry is one, if it's different shapes or sizes. B is the border, if it's an irregular border. C is color. You don't want to see more than 2 colors. D is diameter. If it's bigger than the size of a pencil eraser, they say that's 6 millimeters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then E kind of stands for anything. If it's itchy, red, bleeding, anything else. So you
bleeding
can
is always the telltale.
That's
I
a
think,
really
like
big
something
one.
bleeds.
So
right.
you can screen at home, get right into the doctor.
So what other screenings? What's the number 2?
So for men, I would put number 2 at prostate cancer screening because it actually is the 2nd most common cancer in men. And the good news is it's so highly treatable when it's picked up early.
Right.
All men should have been screened for prostate cancer by the age of 50. It's recommended for African-American men to be screened by age 40, and also people who have any underlying condition or high risk factor for it. It just strikes African-American men earlier, so they need to be screened earlier.
What
What other cancers should men be screened for?
Another one that we think about, colon cancer. It is the 3rd most common cancer. It is slightly more common in men than women and also hits men a little sooner. Now, the gold standard screening for colon cancer is colonoscopy.
Right.
And one important aspect that I like to point out, colonoscopy not only screens for cancer, but can actually prevent cancer. So while the doctor is doing your colonoscopy, they can pick up precancerous growths and remove them before they become malignant. So it's kind of like a double benefit. You pick up cancer early, but you can also prevent it. You're cutting out something that could become cancer.
It's like Fraxel for your colon.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I'm just sort of putting it into language I can understand.
Yes.
Sure.
That's really interesting.
By 50, we all should be screened for colon cancer.
I thought they lowered that age recently, didn't they?
So for many people, they did. There are all of these things are individual.
Right.
If you're 50 and you've never been screened, it's time. But many people should be screened at 40 or even 35 if you have something else.
They also say that many people should use their cell phone cameras to videotape their spouse when they come out of the propofol haze. That's what I've been told.
We should do that.
I've heard that it's
nice.
great for talk show.
There you go.
Footage. We're going to take a break and have more important tips when we return with Dr. Holly Phillips. Covering men's health today with Dr. Holly Phillips. How can men better monitor their heart health?
Right. So heart health is if we had to choose one thing to screen, it's for heart health. Heart disease still remains the #1 killer of both men and women. It strikes men earlier. 3 big tests to think about: screening for diabetes, screening for high cholesterol, and screening for hypertension. There are others, but those are the really big ones. Hypertension meaning high blood pressure. Right. And those screenings can start early, in your 20s and 30s. Really, your primary care doctor will decide when you need what. But I love a home screening, meaning I encourage my patients to pick up a blood pressure cuff.
Oh,
you can get very inexpensive cuffs.
You have no idea. He will be on the cuff 24/7.
When I think I have a fever, she'll walk by and she'll hear beep,
beep,
beep. And I have to hide it now because she shames me before I take my temperature hourly.
He's like,
well, there's nothing wrong with a home screening. Because here's one of the other things. Often your blood pressure isn't as accurate when you go to the doctor. Like, I am a doctor,
Right.
I go to the doctor,
It goes
and my
up,
blood
right?
pressure is 20 points higher.
of
Yeah.
course.
Then I come home and I do it myself, I'm fine. So having the cuff at home, take your pressure first thing in the morning, right before bed. And it makes oh my God.
We'll do
gonna be a lot more
we'll play screenings and
I hope
and
you're
high
happy
blood pressure.
now, Dr. Holly. Guys, I won't be here on Monday. We'll be cuffed. What about immunizations? What should men make sure they have?
Absolutely. Well, needless to say, the COVID shot is right front and center of everyone's mind. Let's go ahead and get it, and the global pandemic.
Yes.
But we shouldn't forget about other things, just our regular boosters and scheduled vaccines that we need as adults. Tetanus shot once every 10 years. As we hit 50, we need our shingles shot.
Shingles.
Shingles shot, yeah.
Shingles can be what? That commercial, right? There's a commercial where they're like, you can prevent shingles, and the woman's like, shingles can be what? Right? Am I the only person
I've never seen it. I believe you, though. No, but I believe you.
I just reenacted it for you.
Very
you
good.
just saw it.
Well, she's right. Whatever that is.
Okay, we need to do
definitely
that.
get the shingles.
Okay. What else?
And then by age 65, a pneumonia shot. But for many people, they get that pneumonia shot earlier. If they have asthma, if they have any other underlying condition, you can get it early.
I didn't even realize there was a pneumonia shot.
Yes, yes.
I guess probably
really
as you approach that age, it becomes
exactly
more of a topic.
It started at 65.
Well, we really appreciate all
Thank
of
you.
these
Yeah.
tips.
Thank you for having me.
Always great to have you here. Great to see you in person.
Appreciate it.
For this men's health checklist, you can visit our website. Thanks again, Dr. Holly.
Next, more photos from Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Can't wait.